do have here two special guests while we're getting Nina in the Zoom. I have a Paralympic gold medalist, Stephanie Victor, so please join me. And if anybody wants later to ask questions about somebody who's here, that would be great. And I also want to invite Mia Scheikowitz, my consulting producer, and please join us, Mia. I want to say about Nina that she has been, we met years ago kind of in line to some party, and suddenly when I needed some advice about the film, I thought of her, and she really influenced the story and gave me so much insight about being a wheelchair user, being somebody who has SCI. So again, later, I wanted her to be here, so if anybody has questions more about her point of view and how she really affected the film.
One of the things that Ravit and I talked about including in the film was the part where Nina gets a pressure sore. Not many people know about pressure sores with spinal cord injury, and it's kind of one of those things that you only really learn about once you have a spinal cord injury. And you realize the importance of making sure that there's a preventative so that you don't get that, because it really does slow you down in life, especially when you're an elite athlete. That's something that you don't want to have to deal with. But a lot of the times, one of the reasons we made sure to include it was because even the medical industry doesn't really even know about it. So a lot of us that have SCIs will go to the hospital for something unrelated and end up leaving the hospital with a pressure sore, which causes a whole other thing, and they can be deadly. That's actually what Christopher Reeve ended up dying from. So it's one of the things that we talked about including and making it really important to show that it's not just about not walking. Actually, not walking is the least of our worries in our life. A lot of the time it's all these other things that people don't know about, so we really want to educate the audience on some of the other things that go behind the scenes on having a spinal cord injury.
Well, what I really appreciated about this film was Ravit's willingness to let the story unfold and let the characters really be completely all of who they are. And that I had the good fortune of seeing the film over several different edits, so it's really exciting, at Slam Dance when it premiered, to see how the story had evolved and to feel what this woman's journey, both individually and collectively with her family, was. And I feel like she so successfully let Nina tell her story, let her family tell her story. And the title says it, right? Nina is an athlete. You really feel that this is her drive.
I want to start off with how Ravit, you and Nina came to know each other.
So Nina is actually the sister-in-law of my sister-in-law. That's how I found her. My brother is married to Livy Kessel, who's my co-director and co-producer of this film, and her brother is Nina's husband, Doran, that you see in the film. Wow. And that was just a very lucky thing, because I just one day woke up and thought it'd be cool to make a sports documentary. I admit it was a very shallow start for the project, and I just thought, but I need to know some accomplished athlete. And suddenly the next day, serendipitously, I got a message from her mother-in-law, Dor and Levy's mother, saying, "Look at our Nina, she just won another medal, we're so proud." And she sent me an article. I was like, "Oh, I forgot, I do know an accomplished athlete, that's my in." And that's how it all started. And maybe Nina can say a little bit about kind of how was it filming with the family in front and behind the camera.
Okay, who knows me know that I hate talking about myself. I don't like when people feel me, but I feel so, how to say, I can't say no to Ravit, and I really didn't believe it will become some film about me. Why someone want to watch me? I like all other people, and it's many athletes out there. And when it started, and I said, okay, maybe take like 5, maybe more years, and it won't be interesting, it will be okay. And when it's finished, and I did say it will be a film and people can watch, I was so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed now.
I made her, she was like, what? I'm like, no, it's the LA premiere, they really want to have you there. I promised Hillary without asking you. So she was coaxed, that's true.
Well, thank you for doing it for us.
And I know we have the microphones that the audience can have if anybody has a question for Nina.
Or
No, I wanted to ask about your working relationship. So this looks like, obviously, this happened over a period of time, going back to before COVID and even now, up to now the film is out and Nina says, I'm done, and now she's going to Paris. Woo! So I want the two of you to talk about this working relationship and how much time you spent. And also, I mean, it was really intimate between the two of you. So talk about that.
So, like I said, I was blessed to have this a mix of openness because of being part of the family, but because I live here and Nina is in Israel, and a lot of times when I would visit, I would never meet her, because she was always, I remember like, oh, there's this athlete in the family, but she's always traveling to competitions. So there was some openness because of in the family, but also we really have, I think, Nina and I, and Dor, just something clicked. And they were really willing to let me in, and that made a huge difference. I think part of it that kind of, she's such a kick-ass woman, and I do want to point out, Paris, not that any Paralympics is ever easy to get into, but especially this year, you know, I spoke to Leon half a year ago, and I said, does she have a chance for Paris? He said, no. She missed too much training. I didn't want to tell you that, Nina, because we have to keep you optimistic. But Leon said no, because she missed too much training and too many competitions, because Dor was drafted for about 4 months, and she missed competitions. Somebody had to stay home with the kids when Dor was drafted, and even so, she qualified. So that's, I just feel like everybody should know that. But I think that, yeah, we definitely clicked. I think I like the model of motherhood that Nina represents to me. This mix of being a committed mother, but at the same time not giving up on your goals. I think that's a great role model for your kids. And I will say, I had people critique some, grant applications, and people say, oh, but why don't you talk more about the price the kids pay for the mother being so busy with her athletic career? And I said, would that question ever come up if the film was about a man? And I feel, and that's why I kind of just ignored it. I don't want it even an option. It's not a question. You just do what you gotta do as best as you can, and it's okay. All kids pay a price for something that the parents didn't do or didn't do. It's okay, and they survive. And my kid is here running around. He ate cookies all day.
there he is.
But it's okay. He knows that today is an important day for mommy, and he's supporting. Thank you, honey. So I think it's the same, and that was part of the ability to really connect.
Well, I want to comment on that, because I think, we're mothers, we have kids the same age, and many of you have seen mine running around also over the past few years. And what I love, Nina, is that your family is equally, like with us, your family is equally as important to you as your work. And your love for both is so strong. I mean, there's no distinction when you're with those children and you're with your husband. It's just purely you and your love, and it's so beautiful to see. And then when you're doing your playing, you're so committed. Your commitment to everything is just, it's beautiful. And I just needed to say that. And I think that Ravit the way you've captured that. And that's what I asked about the intimacy that Nina let you in to be her authentic self.
Again, I feel I was lucky that Dor, Nina, and Leon are all people that just somehow managed to, and again, it might be because we're a family, they really managed to forget that the camera is there and just be themselves, and that was very lucky. And I do think they have all the kind of a film star quality of this natural and the sense of humor, which I love hearing everybody here appreciate. That was very important to me, to convey that there's a lot of jokes and fun, and so that was a big part of it. I do want to just point out a few technical things. One is that if anybody has to leave, there's 2 posters. Please get a picture with them and send me or post it yourself and tag me, Ravit Markus, and hashtag Nina is an athlete, our film, because it's a tiny, tiny low budget indie film that really Levy, her sister-in-law, and my sister-in-law and I made really with just 2 hands. And a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and it's not easy. So we need all the help we can get with getting the word out. The other thing I want to say that even though it's such a tiny film, there were a few supporters. One is, even though they're not represented here, it's Gesher Film Fund in Israel, which is a wonderful film fund that really believe in the project from the start. There's also an organization called Forward Doc, co-founded by Jim Lebrecht, who's my executive producer, nominated for the Oscar for co-directing Crib Camp, and that's how I met actually Stephanie. And there's some other people from there who were involved in help. And I want to mention New York Women in Film and TV, NYWIFT, who gave me something called the Lorene Arbus Disability Awareness Completion Grant. Yeah, and that grant helped me finish the film, and Lorene Arbus is right here. So I am so happy that you got to see it with you and see how helpful this was, because it really helped me complete the film, and I'm so grateful for that. So also, if anybody has questions, she's such a supporter of women causes and disability justice causes, and I'm so grateful to be a beneficiary of that. Obviously, thank you to the festival for having me, AFTAO, and the Israeli consulate. So just did my little thing before anybody has to leave.
We're not letting them leave, because I have more questions.
Yes.
How long do you guys have tonight? No, I'm kidding. So, no, I just have one more question before we open it up. Hang on. I have a question for both of you. I want to know, what were the biggest challenges for you, and what were the biggest challenges for Nina in making the film?
So, finishing the film took place after the war started, after October 7. And here I get very emotional, of course, but that really threw us off. Obviously, who am I to complain? It's just a film, and people's lives were ruined in a horrible way, so I don't need to tell anybody about that. But my editor was drafted, not just Dor, my editor, and I had to deliver the film to Slamdance without my editor, and that was not easy. I had to scramble all these 3 different editors doing favors in Israel, in the US, where not, and then it created all these issues and technical issues and sound issues, and in a way, it never fully got resolved. I was still until 3 a.m. with my editor trying to get another export out for today, and we actually tested it, like Dan and I, the moment before we got here, and ran in like at 5 to make sure it works. So that has been quite a challenge, and like I said, I'm still making. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Again, not complaining, but yeah. Oh, good morning, Ray. So yeah, he really is. And yeah, Nina, want to say what was your biggest challenge with the film?
I think the filming.
She hated the filming.
The whole film. Because I hate speak about myself and that I'm doing this and I'm a great mom and a great athlete. And I have good days and I have bad days. And I think this is the hard, just someone filming me. But after a couple of months of filming it, I was used to it and I was, okay, open it. And I go with it and it's a film. Maybe one day my kids will see.
I hope so.
I hope
Very
so,
proud
yeah.
of you. They'd be very proud.
So,
Shall we take some questions
yeah,
now?
audience.
Watch myself.
There's one up here.
Hi Nina, I wanted to know, where did your love of badminton come from?
Good question.
Oh, it's a very strange story. Before my accident, I play a little bit tennis and I swim. I always work in the sport. And after my accident, I started to swim, and I swim almost 10 years. But I wasn't good enough. And I had some injury on my back, and I can't go to the water. My first trainer of badminton always asked me, come and try, and I always, no, I'm swimming, it's not for me. And when I can't go to swim, I say, okay, I will not stay at home and sit on the couch. I will do for now something else, and then I will come back to swim. And I start, and I saw that I'm not bad. And I stay there and never come back to swim. My small son, he's now 3.5 years. He thinks his mommy can't swim because he's never seen it on the pool.
Other questions?
Then I started and was okay, and then now I love it. But I want to say it's my last Olympic Games.
We'll see, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm a huge Olympics fan, so thank you for showing this film. What was it like to film at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics in the middle of COVID?
So,
I'll read you answer.
it was, until October 7, that was my most challenging thing, because it was, originally they said I had all this vision of me filming in the Paralympic village, it's gonna be so cool, like seeing her wake up, I imagine all these montages, waking up, and then the whole day, and then suddenly they said you're not allowed in. And they actually kept saying we have to be, I don't know, there was some distance, like 7 feet away, and those Japanese people were on us. They were so like, and at first when I came, I saw Nina, and I said, I'm not allowed to hug you. Of course, Nina says, who cares? Come here, give me a hug, your family. And so she actually gave me courage when I'm very kind of like, well, you have to follow the rules. They said we're not allowed, and I can't risk being kicked out and never being able to film it. So I kind of was like, okay, we can't do this, we can't do that. But like I said, Nina, she's a badass. She just said, we are going to do what we need to do. And luckily also my Israeli DP, Jonathan Zaid, also, he was really good with kind of infiltrating areas that we're not supposed to. And we would do like, I would pretend like I'm here to draw attention, so he will run there, and then he would confirm, okay, I found a spot that is kind of hidden, and then I would come meet him there and tell Nina, okay, come, he meet us in the, it was a little bit like, drug deals, or you have to find a bush where you're not noticed. So it wasn't easy. And also originally I was worried that kind of a Paralympics without audience is going to feel weird and awkward. And it was in the beginning kind of eerie, but still I felt, and I have to thank Nina, thanks to her, I was at this event and it was one of the most amazing events in my entire life. You really feel that there's this international event happening and you're part of it, even in a time that it wasn't as engaged as it was. And you remember I pointed out to her, oh, here, at the end they started bringing some audience with masks, so there was some audience, so it didn't feel as eerie. And it's okay, it happens. As long as it didn't happen during the film, we're good. So that, I would say that was, not easy, because a lot of I had to be tested like 3 times in advance, and then when I landed 3 times every morning, and then every other day. Still, we all joke, the people from the IPC, the Israeli Paralympic Committee, who helped me be able to come as part of the mission, that they were like, oh, we're still peeing in a cup just out of habit, we're still spinning. Like, we were so tested every day for 10 days. So it was challenging, but again, it kind of gave, it's very much in documentaries where what you think is going to be a hurdle and like so disappointing and not what I had in mind when I imagined this film in the finale, but it ends up having its beauty of its own, of real life and unexpected things that happen. Todd.
Did Leon find religion?
No way. נינה, הוא שואל אם ליאון חזר בתשובה.
You wanted to start, filming a documentary about an elite athlete, but at what point did you uncover the storyline? Because obviously this went a lot deeper. So when in the filming process did that come about?
So, I think when it came up that tough, I'd say 2 things. Seeing kind of all this questioning about a woman athlete. Look, when you make documentaries, there's constantly, you're retelling the story as you edit. You think you're making this film, and then it keeps shifting, and you realize it's this other film. And obviously, I was going through my own processes too. Seeing her deal with her age, definitely it was part of me thinking about my age, especially in Hollywood. So it definitely, I felt like she reflects some of my thoughts, how to kind of take it with stride, but obviously you admit, it definitely makes you take pause. And one of the things I loved is kind of her dual relationship, saying to Daddy, well, I'm old, I can't do it, but saying to her husband, who's old? And I could relate to that. So it definitely, I think seeing those conversations made me feel, well, this is something that I want to explore. At the same time, I realized that Nina, even though we call the film Nina is an athlete because we love how Doris says that in the film, but part of the beauty was understanding she's so much more than an athlete. She kind of has these 4 identities that I was fascinated by, and I felt have this excellent connection. Oh, that's cutie. This couple makes beautiful children. So I would say it was a process of me understanding what I'm going through and what I found most compelling. And yeah, I know. And at the same time, also, one of the identities that I became obsessed with is her being an immigrant and that coming to Israel, and I felt that actually, and she never fully agreed with that, but to me, that's the experience that shaped her, and to me it was very important. That's why we keep coming back to it, that arrival, that tough immigration experience, because I felt that that's where her resilience comes from. And when you make a film about an athlete, you want to show where does this resilience to keep going. It's so hard. A little bit like documentaries, a lot more rejections than successes, but you keep going. So I wanted to know what gives her that strength. Yeah.
Mother like son.
Yeah. Any other? I think there's more questions in the audience.
I think the big question everybody's waiting to hear is at the end, you said you're done. And now you're going to the Paralympics. So what changed your mind?
I don't know, I continue to practice. In the 3 years, I go like this, and I find myself in the Olympics again. But I can say it will be my last. It will be my last.
I think
Twice 1 year, it was different, it's more challenging now. And all of it happened after October 7th. And it's okay, it was because of COVID. Now it will be Another thing, I think it will be more challenging for me. But I hope it will be okay.
I do want to say that even when I put that end scene where she says, I'm retiring, I'm done, I knew that there's no way. I just knew her too well. So I remember I kept checking in when we were editing and saying, is she, what's happening? And the moment that, oh, she's back in training, I said, okay, so originally that end title that she's going to be in the Paralympics, that she qualified was, she has her sights on Paris. Once she, so I think in Slam it was still, she has her sights on Paris, and by now you got the updated version that she's going to Paris. Yeah, I know, up there?
Ravit, Nina, I think I might be able to speak for everyone here when we say everyone loves a good story. You both told a great one, and we can't wait to follow Nina's journey in Paris this year. That's so exciting, right? So don't stop, right? Keep going. That's the story. That's the perseverance of all of it. And Ravit, filmmaker to filmmaker, you told such a beautiful story, and you know, not just a testament to you, but also your DP and to Nina and her family. I mean, I felt like the camera disappeared when we were in the bedroom, the angles that you and your DP chose to portray that intimacy. Really, I just was enveloped into the story, and that's when you know the filmmakers really just going over and above doing their job, immersing the audience. So not only did you pick such a beautiful subject, but Nina, you told your story with such grace and authenticity, right? We could all really relate. So now you have to live up to that and go win a gold medal. No, third place. We don't like gold. It's only for the young people. But I really appreciate the humor. I mean, everything really came through, and we can't wait to follow both of your journeys. Thank you for making this film.
Can you talk about the music? That was a really great.
So my composer, Thomas Yont, was supposed to be here. Unfortunately, he has a family issue and he had to fly. But yeah, working with him was a pleasure. We really spent a lot of time mostly just figuring like kind of the Nina theme and then have it, how it changes throughout the film. So there's Nina, the athlete, kind of course I said we have to have like a Rocky sequence. So we developed the Rocky sequence, Nina theme, and like versions, but I had this kind of feeling of what are going to be her instruments and what's going to best represent her, and then we worked together on how do you do it in different modes for, like I said, the intimate Nina with her family, her chosen family, the husband, there's the professional family, Leon and the rest of the crew, and then there's the, you know, her biological family with the parents. So we really spent more time on just the working out those music themes. And then Thomas was great at just like, okay, I'll adjust it here and here, and I would say, okay, now that I love this, I know I wanted to repeat also in this scene because these scenes correspond for me. So, but that took the most time, just the planning of how do I want kind of the main thing, music that represents her spirit. And it was a pleasure to work, and a lot of it was appreciated, yeah. I think.
I've got a mic.
He's got the mic.
Question for the filmmaker that's easy. How many hours of filming did you have to cut down to how many minutes?
Oh, wow. Actually, this film was not crazy. It was really just about 100 hours, which is considered not a lot. And they were brought down to basically kind of an hour, like an hour and 12 minutes. Yeah, it wasn't so difficult. Luckily, the story kind of just happened. And again, at first things looked like, oh my God, I'm not going to have an Olympics in the film. There's a pandemic. I'm done. I wasted 2 years filming somebody who's going nowhere. And then, okay. But it's interesting to see, you know, these things evolved. So it was kind of when I looked at the 100 hours, I knew pretty well what I love. Again, what are the themes that are important to me? The motherhood, the womanhood. Oh, and now there's more.
Everybody in the
You're
family.
being upstaged.
What can you do? Always, kids and dogs always steal the
The
show.
one who hasn't shown up is Dora.
And I have a follow-up question for the athletes.
Yeah.
Of the 99 hours that didn't make it into the film, what was your favorite scene that had to be cut?
She's very, humble, like kind of humility. She didn't really want to see it until very last minute. So if I may share Nina's comment, what I was happy about, she was, I don't know if you saw at the end, that her father unfortunately did not see the film. He passed away just before we finished. And it kind of comes at the end, we dedicated the film to his memory. And so I think she said she was very moved seeing her father. I said, I'm going to show it to you, prepare tissues. And he said, oh, it's going to be fine, because she's a tough gal, as we know. But then she was moved, and she did need tissues seeing her father. But I do remember her saying, wow, I actually wish you filmed my brother too, because I actually like what you got out of us, that in a way, conversations that we weren't totally able to have, that actually happened with the camera.
So that's what these that you worked in. What I was asking her is, was there something that happened that you wish it made it into the film? But didn't?
Oh.
Yeah, it was a scene cut that she would have liked.
Can you ask again, please, Ravit?
הוא שואל אם יש משהו שאת זוכרת שצילמתי, שהתחרטת, שהיה לך חבל שלא בסרט.
No.
No. She
I
likes
love her
it.
sense of humor. I love
Yeah.
the humor between the two
Of
of
course.
them.
In the film, yeah. Okay, next, there were a bunch of other questions. Tabert had a question? Yeah?
Rather in the follow-up.
Oh, say again?
So, put the brother in the follow-up.
Yeah? Yeah? Who here is interested in funding indie documentaries? I would love that. Come talk to me. I would love to make a sequel. I think she's a movie star, needs to be followed forever.
I have a question.
Yes, question up there.
Thank you for such an inspiring film. And so, are you taking this on the road? Is it going to be available?
Yes. So Neil Friedman and Heidi Ocean from Milemsha Films are going to take it on the road. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can check in with their website. I'm definitely hoping this film will make it not just to a lot of film festivals and theaters. And please tell your friends in every city. Ask your local film festival, Jewish film festival, disability film festival, anything you can think of. Show this film. Call. Find the film. All the information is online. Find the film. Find a distributor. Ask to show the film. That's one thing. I'm definitely hoping, and that's very much thanks to Mia, that the film will also go to medical departments, because the scene with her about the pressure sore, that's a scene that I only filmed thanks to Mia. I just said, oh, she has some sore, but she said, that's really important. You have to film it. People don't know that it's really important to turn people who are wheelchair users. And thanks to her, that film, and she said, and I want the film to play in medical facilities so they understand, because even though this knowledge has been here, it's often forgotten. It was forgotten when Nina was in the hospital for 10 days after the C-section.
Absolutely. I mean, I had worked with spinal cord injury.
Oh, so please, let's talk.
So this is very inspiring. One question that I've been thinking a lot about right now, and it's not so joyous, but have you been in touch with other athletes and have concerns about the coming Olympics being in Paris, being an Israeli?
Oh, that's a question for Nina. אם את מפחדת שללכת לפריז קצת אנטישמית כשאת ישראלית. אבל יש לכם אחלה הגנה, את יכולה להסביר על זה. שיש לכם security.
Yes, we have a big security. I can't say that I'm afraid, but I believe it can be not nice, but I hope it will be okay. It's people that will like us and people who don't like us. I hope it will be okay. But no, I'm okay.
I think, okay. Yeah. I want to say that I know they want us to leave, but I'll be outside happy to talk some more, and anybody can always email me, call me. My information is everywhere online, because I love to talk to the audience about my film. So thank you so much for being here, and appreciate it.
Please check our website this Saturday, Sunday, Monday coming up. Thank you for coming tonight.
Oh, all right.
Do you have the phone number? I do. I'll let him know.